we should have posted. So again, that's where it looks like. So, but you know, the main thing is that you guys continue to learn, continue to do well. We'll have the final numbers posted on that website that I just, not leaderboard.com. I'm thinking leaderboard. It's www.tradingpub.com/leaderboard. All right, there you go. So again, we'll have the final leaderboard posted on Saturday, but we greatly appreciate you guys being part of this. And Darrell has done an excellent job so far educating. And Darrell, I appreciate you being here again for the third day in a row to share some education on the market. So at this time, I will turn things over to Darrell. Remember, even if you're not doing well so far in trading, you've got plenty of time to turn it around. And also, the Persistent Trader Prize is going to go to one random trader that has placed at least 5 trades a day. So that's the computer set from finedge.com, www.finedge.com. So again, pretty cool package there. But Darrell, at this time, I will turn things over to you. The monitors, the set of 3 HD monitors. I think they're 22-inch. So, all right, Darrell, you can go ahead and take. All right, sounds good. We'll put a little timer up. He'll be back, and we'll put about a two-minute timer. Nice job, Tyrone. Looks like you picked up a couple of ticks there in the Aussie dollar. Have you guys been trading more binaries or spreads? Binaries, okay. Okay, John's been doing more spreads. Few spreads here and there, mainly binaries. Yeah, that's right, Martin. They're on sale, aren't they? All right, well, Darrell's projection's up, so I'll go ahead and turn things over to him.
All right, there we go. Coming through good. Sorry about that. Just took a minute sometimes. So I love the technology. All right, so I got a few questions about the scanner, and yesterday we went over in detail how I like to choose direction. I use the Apex pattern on all the trades that I do, and it's basically my favorite way to trade. And you know, I think it's one of the easiest ways to trade that exists. If you didn't catch that, Morgan, do we have that webinar ready, up, and recorded from yesterday? We'll get that posting up and everything for you so you can access it. Let's see here. So I'll put this up. So some of the questions that I got that came in were more on like how to choose to put up, how to choose the different ones. Yeah, from yesterday. Yeah, on YouTube. And also I'll put a link inside of our room. If you haven't been checking it out, it's going to get more active. It's got pretty interesting. We're talking about arbitrage and all different types of strategies yesterday. There's a little trash talk in the room. It was sort of fun. Right over here with this contest chat room. So go to apexinvesting.com and just sign up on the free link. It's a free membership site, okay? And there's hundreds of hours of free education on here. And it's pretty much all about Nadex. There's stuff about futures and Forex and stocks and options, but, you know, I'd say like 80%, 90% of the content is Nadex. And even our signals are Nadex. Our trading room is a Nadex trade room. You know, we're trading Nadex spreads in there. Anyways, but go here, check out the contest chat room right here, and you can hop in. And there's all sorts of trash talk. We put like Coach Leonidas killing the messenger and all sorts of stuff on here. But hop over here, have some fun. And this usually gets up quite a bit during the day once we get going. And then it gives you the links to all the scanners, the expiration schedule, if you're looking for more trades, the news trading schedule. We're going to have some on Friday. They're up there already. other things that you can check out. You can ask me questions as well. I'm in there all day. So, so let's go ahead and hop over. And once you figure out, let's say you're looking at a chart, like we're over here, and let's say this is Aussie dollar this morning in the trade room. We're showing it to, go long the Aussie dollar. We've been long basically all morning on it. And like I talked about yesterday, basically when the Aussie, when you hit an E, once you go 3 ticks above the E, then you take an entry. So, right there's another E, there's another E, another E. So, and sometimes you'll take these E's, and you can see like right there, it didn't go anywhere. It didn't really go down far, but it didn't really go anywhere. This one, it finally did take off. This one took off. It didn't really go against you that hard. It's down a few ticks. But what can you do on these like flat times? How can you maximize these big moves? And so there's really, as I've been trading this, and of course, trading is a constant evolution, right? You're constantly learning how to trade. You're learning different ways to trade, different ways to take advantage of the trading instruments. And so, how do you pick? How do you pick what you're going to do, what you're going to trade? And one of the things, by the way, I'd be very aware right now if you're on Aussie dollar that it has hit one deviation. And so it doesn't mean you have to stop. It just means be aware of it, because one of the rules that we have, okay, is like right here. This is a 10-minute deviation stop. What I do is, so we had our longs, right, where we're buying in this thing like all the way up. So buying there, and then buying right over here. Okay, our stop loss would be 5 ticks below. All right, that right there. So the low of this bar is 93.29. So we'd have a stop loss at 93.24. If 93.24 got hit, I would not expect the Aussie dollar to keep rising significantly. I'd expect it to go flat for the rest of the day or retrace. So, anyways, we're at a 1 deviation. That means 70% of the expected movement. Only 30% of the time is it going to exceed that move. So it could be very helpful just to understand where you're at in relation. I don't know if you've ever experienced this. It's one of the things I always experience on charts. Is you sort of get lost, right? Because if your chart's like this, or like right here, you zoom that way over, like this right here. Where is the chart? Like how big is the move really? And as you resize your charts, as you zoom in, as you zoom out, they can sort of be hard to, lose perspective of how far the market's really moved on a given day. And I'd say that's one of the biggest, and a trader actually pointed this out to me, and I'm like, wow, it really does do that. I didn't even notice it was doing that to me. But it gives me perspective in the day. Where am I at in relation to the movement on the day? So that way, as I'm moving my chart, as I'm making them bigger, as I'm zooming in, zooming out, I may take this chart right here, and I may stick it like right over here in the corner. And when you do that, I got it always on top, so we'll do it right now. There we go. So if I do that right there, if I stick it over in the corner, then it's easy to lose perspective. So the deviations really help you go, okay, how far have I really moved today in relation to when I'm staring at these different charts? And I think if you'll try that out, if you'll look at it, it'll help you a lot. I'm trying to see if there's one other thing I want to share with you. It's just a helpful free tool bonus. If I can figure it out, what is the name of that thing? There it is. Okay, win split. Okay, so this is your bonus for coming to the webinar today. Okay, and one of our traders. We're a big trading community. That's why we team up with trading pumpkins. They have that same thing, big on free education trading community. But go to WinSplit Revolution, winsplit-revolution.com. I'll post this in here for you. Sorry, that's a little random, but you'll be happy. What this program does is it allows you to easily, check this out, what I can do with this chart, okay? Right, so I can have a bunch of charts up. See, I can resize it any way I want to. So really quick without having to drag it. And all you do is if you download that program, you use Control Alt and the keypad. So like 7, like if I hit that, those are the 3 different sizes of 7. You know, and then 8, you know, it being in the middle top, bottom right, top right. But if you're watching a bunch of charts, this can be really, really helpful. So just a little bonus for you there. But meditation, I know that was a little bit of a sidebar, but hopefully you'll appreciate that tip. I just figured I was flipping screens around like crazy, so I wanted to go ahead and show you what I was doing. You can't have always on top on your chart because it'll control it too much. But now we got that, let's go over here, and this makes it helpful for what I'm about to do. I'm about to go over here and pull up the scanner. And so maybe let's shrink this a little bit more, give me a little more room on my browser. Okay. And let's see here. I don't know if it'll give me a 2/3 of a screen. Yeah, it does. Look at that. That's so nice. Even on my browser, it resizes it for me. And that's your screen. And then you can use, by the way, Control minus will zoom out on a browser. Control plus will zoom in on a browser. Okay. Like that, and then Control 0 will set it back to normal size. But on the scanner, maybe I want to resize it so I can see the whole scanner, like right next to the charts I'm looking at. I can also stick what I'll do sometimes is I'll make it really small, and I'll stick it like right in the middle, like that, and then I'll have 2 charts over here, 2 charts over here. I'll do the indices at the end of the day, so it makes it where it's easy to see. Now I use a thin edge monitor, and it is amazing. So if you don't have a thin edge, you definitely want to check it out if you're looking at getting a new computer. I got 7 more that are being ordered right now, and I'm going to have an 8 monitor. So this is just one of them. So and I got my 3 regular. I had 4 of them actually. I just disconnected one of them, but I got 7 more. I'm going to have 8 connected. And not that you need that many, but why not? And look at the resolution: 2560 by 1440. So that's their lucidity monitors, and like it doesn't burn your eyes after staring at it all day and everything else. It makes it pretty cool. And when they just put this up, this is a new team order. We got this last night. Typo edge.com/Apex. Pretty sure that's the link they gave me. So there's their main website right there for you if you don't have it. And then, yeah, there it is. Okay. This is the new Apex edition, so we're partners with them. And right there. So they made this one. It's several $100s off and a bunch of upgrades built into it. But it has the purple lighting. They run on basically just it's a powerhouse of a computer. And they have, this is basically their bronze workstation with a bunch of upgrades on it. Like a bunch of upgrades for like not a bunch of money. And then they also have a economy, so if you're just getting started, check out their enterprise version. It's like $1,000. So good computer, solid computer, better than some off-the-shelf crap you're going to buy at Best Buy or something. All right, back on topic. Sorry. Let's get over here. Let's check this out. So if you're picking a trade, all right, and we're looking at all the different possibilities, different trades that we could look at. I'm just trying to see if I see something that's... Aussie just has the most strength this morning. It's just already ran up so far. And I'm looking at this, trying to see. What we got over here. And we might be able to, and the indices are moving a little bit down right now. I'm looking for it. I want to find a trade to make this easier for you, because it's always easier to see a real example than it is just to get the theory, but we may have to go with theory if we don't find one quickly. So I don't want to be on the webinar all morning, but I do. Spread. Right now we're not really getting just a ton of movement. All right, so right now we're just going to go ahead and let's just assume that we have a potential trade coming up on Aussie dollar. Because once we get an E, we would have an actual trade. That would count as an actual trade. We got the S&P starting to wide up on a short. Okay, let's check that out. Like we're getting a lot of negative market noise right now on the S&P. So when I say negative market noise, I'll show you what I mean. This is inside of our trade room. Right here. So see, like it's lighting up like crazy. That oil right there, and then we have the strength meter right here. So that's how I know like the Aussie dollar is very strong, because the Aussie's strong. But with that lighting up, we can go over and check it out. Looks like we might be getting a little bit of a turnaround there. And I'll load those charts up. Euro dollar coming up. And first, I'm just go over some basics, and then we'll come back and we'll look and see if we can find a specific trade that would work out well. All right, first thing, we're going to start on the binary scanner, then we're going to go to the spread scanner. Because you need to know how to use these tools with whatever method you're going to choose. So whatever your method is, however it is that you like to trade, how are you? So first thing, live or demo. Right now, you're obviously probably using demo if you're trading with the contest. Okay. The next thing is hit reset filters for me, if you haven't already. Oh, by the way, you have quantity too. You can default this. So you could like default it to 10 if you want to be able to do that trade. Because right now we're, people are trading 10 lots for the contest. And then, let's see. So now, a lot of little mistakes. And if you can't get something to show up, if nothing's working, hit reset filters. That's the easiest solution for you. Okay? First of all, just hit reset filters. All right? And then let's go over here. I want to update this one to ES. Or maybe TF. I prefer TF. I like trading the Russell a lot. We'll see if it's up there or not. If not, we'll come on back over to Aussie. But anyway, so we got that. We've reset our filters. Now it's sort of what am I looking for? I got to start thinking about that a little bit. Okay. Yeah. So we're getting the Russell heading back down after that launch up this morning. Okay, number one mistake I've seen that traders are making on it, and so we're going to have to make this like red or green or something and do something about it, but people are clicking in the money thinking that that is making it not. It's actually deselecting it, okay? So you're deselecting it by clicking it. See that right there? So notice how it takes out all of the in the money contracts. So you could deselect out of the money if you wanted to, but if you're wanting premium collection, you want in the money selected. So that's the number one mistake that I'm seeing that traders are making. But just make sure you do have, one of those selected. In the money, out of the money, whatever. And then there's an at the money up here. The at the money will actually go in and just look for ones that are priced between 40 and 60. That's all at the money does. Okay? Just hit reset filters. And all that did is it changed the risk measurements on the price. Okay, so we got out of the money, in the money, number one mistake. Now, if you want to buy, you can just hit buy. It'll eliminate all the sell sides. So you're not even looking at those choices. If you want to sell, just hit sell. And then it'll just show you, on the sell side once it updates. Go back over there. Okay. Now to show the sell side. Okay, so pretty simple, right? It's highlighting whatever it's choosing. Now, something else you could do is you can narrow it down to weeklies just by clicking W. And what it'll do is it'll automatically get rid of everything but the weekly binaries. You can make it go down just to dailies and weeklies, or I'm sorry, just dailies. And then it'll narrow it down just to dailies for you. Or you could say, I just want to see intradays. So by doing that. Or you can click all. Pretty simple. Just those are the selection choices. And if you ever mess up, you can't break it, just click reset. Okay, pretty simple. I don't think I've lost anybody so far. So now the next thing is time. How much time do you want? Okay, So you can just narrow that and say, I just want trades that are going to expire in the next 2 hours. I can do that. What it'll do is it'll get rid of all the binaries that expire later than 2 hours from now. So it really narrows down the choices there. And you could use risk-reward ratio. Probably the second most common mistake that traders make when they're doing premium on this. Well, you're not going to get a 1-to-1 risk-reward ratio on premium collection on just one side of the contract. So if you're going in and you're buying something for $80, you're risking 80 to, collect 20. You're not going to get a 1-to-1. So you're going to eliminate all premium collection by doing that. So if you're doing premium collection, you're never going to put a number in here. So just leave it alone. You probably won't even need that, but you can use it. But you're only going to use it really if you're doing like out of the money binaries. It's the only time you're ever going to use that at all. Now, let's go ahead and focus on out of the money binaries for a minute. I know a lot of people like to trade those. There are some benefits, and then I'll show you usually, there's basically 3 different ways you could use binaries like on the Apex strategy. And so you go over here, and one of the things that you'll notice is you'll see a bunch of these like $3, especially if I go and I reset all my filters. And especially when we get closer, you'll see all these $3 and $5, like see all these like $97 ones? So we're also, this is a beautiful thing about the scanner right here. Notice that says intraday and daily. So it's putting all of the 11 a.m.s together. So you're not flipping back and forth between the 2 different expiration times. The daily 11 a.m.s and the intraday 11 a.m.s. You're getting all of them in the same thing. And a lot of times you can find better ones at a different price. Well, look at this. I mean, I can see a few of them right now. So I wonder if you can spot them. If you look at it. Look at this, $94. I can make $94 on this trade. I can make $94.50 on this trade, but I can only make $94 on this trade. So this is actually where it's at. I can make more money with less risk on a 9300 than I can on a 92 at 96, where it's at 94. I can make $96 on this one, 97 on that one, 96 on this one. See, there shouldn't be that inconsistency in price. So this is going to let you easily find the best binary. 2 or 3 ticks difference, sometimes 6 ticks difference. And every tick can make a massive difference, and you can actually get more money with less risk with a closer strike, or with a further strike if you're doing, premium collection. So you want to be able to look at that when you see all that. But a lot of times I don't even want to see this stuff at all. I don't want to see 96s and 97s. Like, I mean, there's 20 of these things. They're useless to me. Okay? So I'll go in and say, you know what? I want at least $4 risk. No matter what I'm doing, I'm not doing binaries that are that far out of the money. That's just a lot of ticket. Just get rid of it. And by doing that, I can drop off a ton of those trades. And I mean, I can even raise it up a little bit just because of fluctuation in price, whatever. I can raise it up to 5. And it'll show me like $5 and up. So we'll get rid of the $4 risk binaries. And so now I just eliminated a ton of the binaries right there, right? Like all that stuff that was just useless to me, all these 96, 96, 97, 97 are all out of the way. And I'm going to narrow this thing back down to like what expires in the next just hour. So we'll get rid of everything else. So now we got rid of all that stuff. So now that I've done that, I also don't need to see these 50 cents. If I sell it, I can make 50 cents. Exchange fees cost more than that. Okay, so it's sort of pointless to have that. I mean, if it doesn't make at least at the very worst, like 95, okay, it's not worth it. So 5 and 95 are really, they're going to make a lot more sense for me. Okay, like I don't need anything really ever outside of that range. Because either it's, okay, Heidi has a question. What exactly is intraday? Intraday are the ones that have last 2 hours. So they started at 9 and they go to 11. So if you were over inside the Nadex platform, then that would be the like 11 a.m.s is what it would probably be labeled as. Let me see here. Talking a second ago, I'll look back in. But instead of the ones, there's ones labeled dailies, and there's ones labeled weeklies, but there's nothing on the intradays being labeled because there's tons of them. And it's a long word. It takes a lot of space in the platform. So the intradays are the ones that last 2 hours. That's the quick, easy answer. I mean, they're all, well, not all, I guess, but most of them are intraday. But they call them intraday, or some people call them hourlies, even though they last 2 hours because they come out every hour once they start trading. They're literally like popping up on the screen every hour. So, you know, like right over here. Okay. If I go to like Forex, Aussie, you see it 10 to 12, 9 to 11, those are your intradays. And you got your dailies, they last 23 hours. So they'll go from like 4 a.m. to 3 a.m., 8 a.m. to 7 a.m., 12 p.m. to 11 a.m. So there's a 1 hour break in between them. And then, of course, the 6. All right, so right there, like that's, you're pretty much always going to use, except for the time, you know, you'll vary that. But you're probably almost always going to use 5 to 95 for anything. I mean, even if you're doing premium collection, you're not going to want less than 95 at the time, or greater than 95. If you're doing just out of the money binaries, you're probably not going to want less than 5. And that gives a whole lot of fluff off of the screen for you. Okay. And you know what? I mean, really, let's just get rid of the 5s. You can put 6 on there, and that'll get rid of those little 5 ones. And you can make it really as tight as you want to. Sometimes there'll be a straggling, like this is a delayed quote that's just stuck inside the server. If you open that up, it probably won't even show anything. Right there. So, and yeah, so it's working on opening that. There it goes. Opening the ticket up. And there's not even the quote anymore. So it's just like the last quote's into the server and it hasn't sent an update yet. It's just been sitting there the entire time doing nothing. So that's why that one's like sticking out there down at the bottom. So if you pull it up, you just got to verify it is accurate. But as long as they're quoting, they're actually moving, then it'll be on there. And then, so we got all these right here. Okay, and I'll take a picture of that too. I can show my programmers. Anytime I see anything, I always send it over to Ben and he helps me. If y'all ever notice anything, let us know. I know we have like 5 more upgrades coming this weekend on here. One of them is going to be, we're going to make it where it only loads the data for the markets selected. So that's supposed to be done by this weekend. And what it'll do is it'll make the entire thing run a lot faster for you and use less memory on your computer. Because this thing is live, so it goes really fast. Anyways, okay. So we got, do you want to buy? Do you want to sell? I mean, just think about what do you want to do? It ought to make it a lot easier for you. Do you want out of the money or in the money binaries? If you make sure it's selected, don't click that and wonder why you don't see any premium collection trades. Okay, it's got to be selected. Let's see here, and then I'm just trying to go through everything I can. And then let's see here. Once you got that, now you got to go, okay, what do I want to do? So let's say I want to do premium collection on these 11 a.m. binaries that are coming up here in the next half hour. Okay, well, I've dropped off everything else but half hour. And look, I mean, how few of the selections I have now. I had hundreds of binaries. And now I don't even have, 50 or whatever. Let's make that smaller. If I'm going to do premium collection, it's probably going to be, I'd say at the very least, because there's 2 different ways. Okay, so we'll say 60 to 95. It's really as cheap as I'm going to go, or whatever, as expensive as I'm going to go. But I won't go lower than 60. I'm not going to go greater than 95. So that can give you your widest possible range. Usually I put 70. But one of the strategies I do, I use 60, so that's why I'm going to show that to you, okay? And you can see right there, the apex, it's catching a short. I mean, it's doing its thing. So remember, 3 ticks below the E, take an entry. It has to break 3 ticks below the E. It didn't break 3 ticks below, it went higher, right? This one, it broke 3 ticks below, kept going down. So very simple, just follow the apex. And I can switch. So right here, I can click this. It'll like select small cap. If I want to get rid of all of these currencies at once, I just click that. It'll unselect everything. And now I'm just focused on small cap. So if I want to sell it, I can go, well, what could I sell? What's available? And I can go, well, 962.3. That's where I'd put a stop loss on a trade. So I like that trade. So I can go over here and I can just click this right here, and it'll open up the contract for me. Once it opens it up, add the trade, ready to go, and I can hit place order. I'm in the trade. And submitted at 15.50. I got at this price or better. I probably got better than 15.50, maybe. Maybe I got like 16. I got 17. That's awesome. Okay, that's one thing I really want y'all to notice is like the at this price or better is like a big advantage for you. So you don't always have to chase the thing. Okay, look at that. I mean, I got an average price of 17. I submitted it at 15.50, which means I'm going to make another $1.50 on the trade if it's profitable. Anyway, so I got that trade on. I could take profit if I wanted to, or I can leave it on until expiration. It's only got 30 minutes. And it's well above, I mean, right here, if I'm trading this, I'd put my stop 5 ticks above this P, with the P's high is 961.8, so it'd be 962.3. Look at that. That's where my stop loss would be. If I'm trading just the futures, or I'm trading the spreads, or whatever, if I'm trading the futures, I would be getting out of 962.3. That'd be my stop loss on this trade. So that's a perfect binary for me. And I'm already profiting on the trade. Premium collection is on my side. Direction is on my side. Time's on my side. So it's a very, very cool way to trade the binaries. Okay? And then, let's see here. So Adrian just sold the 500 at 1594.9, 1590 for me, but did that last night. So yeah, I do these with a lot less time. So I'm going in and I'm making my money quick, and I'm freeing my capital up, and I'm finding the next trade. I'm making my money, finding the next trade, making my money, finding the next trade. I mean, they're only worth $100. You're only going to get so much money on them anyway. So no reason to spend a week, which you can make it in 15 minutes. So. Now, if you have nothing under 27 minutes on the scanner, that means that you click something you shouldn't have. One is maybe hit refresh, okay? Maybe your browser isn't keeping up. I guess that we're going to add an upgrade in that will solve that for you by Monday. But let's say you don't see anything on here and you have reset filters and nothing. Reset filters. If you don't see anything for like 11 a.m., if you don't see an 11 a.m. expiration, your browser probably isn't keeping up. It's not a big, it'll keep up once you reload the browser. Just hit refresh right here, and you'll see everything, Heidi. Okay? So just hit refresh right at the top, or hit F5, and it'll upload for you. So watch that. I'll do this. And that's why we're doing that upgrade on the data feed, just to make it faster for you. So that way if somebody is having that issue, then they won't have to worry about ever having to hit the refresh button. Because that's one of the things I like about the scanner, is not having to hit refresh. So I want to make sure everybody has that benefit. So if that's not working for you, Heidi, let me know, okay? And if y'all are having any issues on the scanner, if you're trying to figure out the room, that chat room we have, okay? Because I want to know about it and I want to fix it. Because I made this to help traders. I use it all day. If you have any ideas, let me know. And just go over here to contest chat room, open 24/7. So, and hop in there and let me know. All right, so right down here, so we chose that trade. It's doing pretty well. Hopping along doing its thing. And let's see where we at on that thing. So we're up $50 right now. It's down to a $12 buyback. Now, something I want to teach you, this is really helpful for knowing like where, if you want to take profit a little early, like where would you do it? What's the realistic price? Because I see people going there, I'll buy back for 50 cents. Well, great for you, but you can put whatever price you want in there, but if it's not going to get filled, it doesn't do any good. So right here, I have the 962.3. One tip, looking at this, who can tell me, and I actually talked about this in the trade room, who can tell me if that's an intraday, without even looking at a cheating and looking at the scanner, is there a way to tell if 962.3, okay, is an intraday or a daily? $11 a.m. doesn't mean intraday because dailies expire at 11 o'clock also. Okay, now I'm on U.S. small cap, but sorry, let me rephrase my question because it's not really fair. But sorry about this. There's another way to tell it's intraday besides knowing that small caps don't have a daily. Because like Forex, okay, see these? They'll have like 11 a.m.s. There's a distinct difference. Not expiry date, no, because both of them will expire on the same day. Like say the Aussies right here, they both expire at 11. There's one thing that's really unique about intraday binaries. Okay, what could that be? It is the last digit on the strike. Notice on the 3 o'clocks here, the daily 3 o'clocks, they're in whole numbers. Look at the daily 11 a.m.s, they're in whole numbers. Daily 7 a.m.s. See all the zeros? They're all zeros. 7 o'clock, all zeros. 11 o'clock, all zeros. Watch this, weeklies. All the strikes are in 5s. And look at the intradays. They're going to be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. So it basically won't, if it's a 0, it's a daily. If it's a 5, it's a weekly. If it's anything else, it's an intraday binary. So that's just it's just sort of a cool thing when you're looking at it. If somebody says, hey, I'm buying the 962.3, or if I'm buying the, the Aussie dollar 92.66, that's an intraday binary. You don't even need to go to the 11 o'clock daily. You don't need to go to the, if you're looking at 3 o'clocks on Friday, you don't need to go to the weekly. If it says 5, you know that's a weekly contract. Okay? Okay, Heidi, no problem. So, may just be your internet connection speed, if all your other websites are down too. So anyway, it's just, I don't know if y'all got what I just put down there, but it's sort of, I don't know how much it's going to affect you, but if somebody's calling out a strike, if you're looking at a signal service, I believe a signal service, whatever, if the number is a 5, the last digit is a 5, it's a weekly, and this is across the board. But it's pretty cool just how they do it. And on the on all the Forex pairs. So on all the Forex pairs, and I haven't studied in detail the other pairs, I've just started to notice it on the other ones, but if I go to like weeklies on Euro Yen, see it's in 5s. So my guess is that helps Nadex reps easily identify what contract you're looking at if you call in with any kind of question. Okay? So now I have this trade on. I need to know what my risk is on the trade. I also need to know how I would take profit on the trade. So let's go into a couple questions about risk and take profit on the trade. Let me show you that. Well, I know it's an intraday, so let's go ahead and hop over to intradays. 9 to 11s. And I need to know what could I realistically, now I'm looking at the binary price ladder on Nadex. What could I realistically buy back? We could look at the spreads and see. I've just started to notice. It's like fun facts that don't do a whole lot for you, but it's interesting to know. On the small cap 2000, what is a realistic buyback price? You ought to be able to look at this binary price ladder and know. Do you see a single binary I could buy for 50 cents or $1? Like if I was taking maximum profit on it? So no, there's a $4 one, right? 4, yeah. So if I wanted to put in an early exit on the trade, I'd probably be looking at that. Okay, there was a sell for 50 cents for a second there. There wasn't a buy for 50 cents. Okay, so if I am going to do that, if I wanted to do it, I could go over here and I could put a buyback on the contract for, say, $4. And that's probably the closest, fastest, realistic exit. If I'm going to get out before expiration, I need to have a realistic exit price. So that would be my most realistic exit price. Okay? So I can put that on there, put $4. The nice thing is I don't have to wait till expiration to make maximum profit. What's the benefit of not having to wait till expiration to make max profit? There's 2 main benefits. What's the main benefit? There's the 2 main benefits of not waiting until expiration for max profit. Because people always go, I want to squeeze out that last $4 because that's 20-25% of my trade. And I get that. That is a big amount when I'm only going for like 17. But there are 2 benefits that can outweigh losing at $4. What are the 2 benefits? Anybody can tell me? Of why I would give up $4 on a trade and just hop out? Perfect, Chad. That's awesome. So yeah, the trade can turn against you. So yeah, I'm giving up maybe 20-25% on the trade, but I'm also not risking 75% of my profits. So there's a couple things right there, right? The other one is I have money to go capture another $12, $15. All right. So by freeing up that capital, I can go find another trade. And instead of waiting for another, 30 minutes or hour or 2 hours or however long it is to make $4 more, I go find another trade and make 15 in the same amount of time. So you got to think about how much am I losing by missing out on other opportunities by tying up all my capital to get another dollar or two. And is it worth the risk of all the profit I've made thus far just to make another few bucks? Okay? So, don't just think about in terms of how much of the profit you're giving up on the trade you have. Think about how much profit you're giving up on the trades you could be going and getting. Think about sometimes it's nice just to close the thing out and go take a break and not have to worry about the trade losing. There's also a psychological benefit. And trading is a lot of psychology, right? So there's a huge psychological benefit. I mean, you see this P&L floating, which, by the way, I recommend turning off. If you've seen any of my webinars, you know that I'm big on turning off the P&L. But because, man, you're going to have a heart attack. All right? You want to live long enough to enjoy your money. So, go to display and turn off the P&L. I know that sounds crazy, but it doesn't matter. Your P&L should not affect your trade because you know what? It doesn't affect the market. What does matter is the price. What does matter is your initial risk when you get in. Okay? So, if you want to stare at that thing, give yourself a heart attack, then, enjoy it. But it doesn't matter. I mean, here's what matters. I'm getting out when the market hits my strike, 962.3. I will hop out of the trade. Okay? So it doesn't really matter what my P&L is. I mean, I know what my P&L is going to be. I'm going to be down like $30 a contract. So I'll be down like $300 if that trade goes against me. Time on my side, and I got, what do we got? We got 17 minutes left. Could it go up? Yeah. Do I need to be ready to get out? Yes. Is watching the P&L going to make it go down for me? No. So now it's going up. It may hit me. What do I do if it goes up and goes against me? Okay. Now, I'm not going through all the perfect little rules here. I'm just trying to teach you the examples because we actually would probably be out of the trade already because of the 6 ticks to break even. But let me show you what to do because I want to show you worst case scenarios because I think that's honestly more important than best case scenarios when you're trading. I want you to do a tear off ticket. So use that little arrow. Use tear off ticket. Then, if I sold, this is very important, otherwise you end up double downing, okay? Buy. I didn't make my size match. I sold 10. I'm going to buy 10. All right? And then my price. Well, if the Russell gets to 962.3, then it's going to be worth 50. Give or take, a few bucks on bid-ask spread. And not wanting to get stuck in a working order scenario, can change it to 60. All right? So I'll put it at 60. Remember, I'm going to get at this price or better. So it can pop up, it can hit my price. I get a place where it could drop back down to 40. I could get filled at 40, even though I have 60 in. All right? So I'm going to have that trade on, and then I'll hit place order. So don't do it yet, okay? Make sure it hits your price. So if this thing does hit 962.3, they're say breaks it, so 962.4, all right? Up here on your live charts, which way you need to be looking at live futures data, okay? Not delayed data, not investing.com CFD data, but live real futures charts, which you can do for free. All right? Let's go to our website, go to home, start here, steps 3 and 4. So we have a 6-bar to break even rule, so we would have been out of this trade already. But, like I said, I want to show you worst case scenario. It's actually the last rule on the this webinar I did yesterday. And that's if the apex is really small, okay? And notice I have my working ticket up. I always have this thing up and visible. And it's out of ticket. It's not stuck inside my browser. It's not going to get covered up somewhere. I want to make sure I can always see it. All right, so if that happens, I'll get out of the trade. Now the rules, break even's much better than a loss, right? Yes, you want to win, and yes, break even sucks, but it's much better than a loss. So on Apex, right here, okay, on an apex if between the E and the X there are less than 6 bars. A lot of these are really tiny. As soon as I get 6 bars with lower lows, then basically my stop needs to be at break even, getting out where I got in on the trade. Okay? And then I follow all my other exit rules. So we have that, and then we have one other rule too. So I want to show you that, because this trade could have been managed a lot better. It's just being on the webinar, not paying as good of attention. But I want you to see, how does this really work? And also, this is a good opportunity to show you how to manage a bad trade, because managing your risk is more important than managing your profits. Managing your profits is extremely important. Otherwise, you give them all back. But let's see here. So, come on. Let's take a little bit long. Got too many different things live right now. But let's see here. One other thing that we have, and I don't know if we have any elite traders in the room. Looks like we have a couple. What other rule could have got me out of this trade earlier? So we had 6 bars to break even. That could have got us out. But one other rule came up. Let me just take this and make it a little bigger. Who can tell me what that rule is? Try to see who we have in the room here that I know would know the answer. Because most of my elite traders are probably in the elite room right now, trading. Darby was in here, but he took off. He's trading over in the elite room. Okay. BMX, not a BMX. That's a good guess, though, Adrian. BMX means barely missed X. We actually did hit the X. So we got the X right there. Like within that, basically when it gets within 3 ticks of the low of the A, it needs to break the A to make an X within 2 bars. It did, or within the next bar. It did do that. So we didn't have a BMX, but we did have a velocity bar. Look at this velocity bar right here. Okay, that means a bar that basically lasts less than a second. We don't put it 5 ticks above the high of the A. We do put it 5 ticks above the high of the X, but only after, only if there's 6 ticks between the E and the X. So we have the 6 bars to break even rule over here. Okay, I see why, by the way, we have like 5 ticks above the P for our stop loss. But the velocity bar right there. When these velocity bars happen, that means there's a massive expansion on price. They're trying to find orders. If they can't find the orders, okay, it will reverse on you. And look what happened. Could not find any orders, went down. And if you go look at the volume, right there at 1033, all right, you'll see there's very, very low volume right in that little spike. I mean, look at this. And you might not even see it on a time-based bar. But we got 1030, 330. And then if we keep moving over, like you'll see there's less and less and less showing up on there. So as far as time, so 10:33, 31, that's our velocity bar. 10:33, 30, so it lasted 1 second. The next bar, 10:35, 47. So this bar lasted like a couple minutes on the way back up, right after that velocity spike. So you had more than enough time to exit the trade. So that would have been the wiser exit. Okay, we basically would be right back in the same trade right now. But you would have got out of that trade. You would have been, I think we were up like what, 20 or 50 bucks at that time, right? When we were looking at that on the, if you go back on the webinar and look at it, I guess we were probably up about $50 total on the trade. But when you saw that velocity spike, like bam, you would have tightened your stop to 5 ticks and probably would have been out somewhere close to break even, maybe up 10, 20, 50 bucks. If it hit 5 ticks above this ADMA. So right there, you would have got out of the trade. Like I said, now you would have been up a little bit. Now, check this out. You were barely up at all before, but now we're up, and we're actually a little higher than where we got in on the trade. How is that possible? How are we up, and it's higher than where we originally even got in on the trade? What has happened since we got in that would make us actually be more profitable than our original entry? time has passed by. We're making money on time. So I should have been out. I should have taken a little bit of a profit. I should have got back in just recently. But time has passed by, so just time decay alone, I'm making money. Okay? So that's pretty cool. Just making money on time. So is it decaying down? I mean, how much time do we have left on this trade? We have 9 minutes. So got 9 minutes on there. We'd be in another entry. So at this point, I'm not going to hop out because we'd be back in. But I should have hopped out earlier. So if I was paying attention. And that's the dangerous part of doing webinars and trading, but that's why it's a demo account. People always go, why do you use demo? I'm like, because I'm not paying attention. As much detail, whenever I'm talking. So this thing will fluctuate a lot. It'll get extremely volatile. And, I need to be ready for it, right? So hopefully it doesn't get, but, we got to see sort of a worst case scenario, how to get ready. We got to see, 1, I should have been at break even, and then 2, I should have tightened it even further whenever it got down here. So I at least would have got a break even or a little bit of profit on this first trade. So the next trade now is just a matter of, can we beat the clock, right? Before it goes back up, or will it just keep going down for us? If it does, then we will be profitable on the trade. And time is definitely coming out of those binaries really quick right now. Remember, we only saw one of them at $4. Remember that? And then one was like at 4.50 was fluctuating. Now we got 3, 3, 4, 4.50, 14. Okay, which is the one we're at right now. Which means that this thing will drop 1 more point. Look at this. If it'll drop 1 point, if it'll get down to 959.8, what will this be worth? Can you tell me by looking at the price ladder what this thing will be worth if it drops 1 point? It'll be worth, this could be $5 or $6. It's just a 1 point down move on the Russell. And the way I'm looking at that is I'm actually looking at the price ladder. So if it goes down, imagine this whole price ladder right here moving down 1 strike, which is 1 point. So I'd literally just take the strike and just move it down. And so that'll be worth right around $4 to $6. As the time goes by, it'll be worth even less. And so we got that right there. And so I'm trying to think. Let's see. So yeah, so it goes down a point. You notice that's getting lower and lower and lower, but it'll be worth $4. Now there's a way to see this too. Over on this. This is a really cool feature. I love this. Is then go down here and go, what happens if it goes down a point? So I can just sort of go 960, 1.3. And it will actually do the calculation. It takes it a minute to get all caught up, so you got to give it a second. A little bit further. Oh, wait a minute. There we go. Had it going up. And once it gets caught up, then you'll actually be able to see how much you'll make on the trade. It'll tell you what it's going to be worth. And I can widen this out just so I can see one of the trade we might have. We're almost there. Well, now it's already down there, so it doesn't matter. But now it's down to $5. So we're almost trying to take profit. Doing pretty good, just following along. Like I said, we would have been out of that one. We'd be back in this one. And we'll throw a P&L on there just so you can see what's going on. But you can't even see it. You know why? Because you can't get out of the trade. Because we just took everything out. Somebody took everything out. We got 3, so yeah, 7 of them. I think some people are following along at this point. So we don't freak out just because we took the book out. But it'll refill here in a minute. And by the way, I have a choice. We only have 5 minutes left. I could choose just to cancel my take profits and say, you know what, I don't think it's going to rise up like 3 minutes in the next, 3 points in the next 4 minutes. Or I could leave it on there, and as liquidity comes back into the market, I'll get filled and take profit on it again. So what is my profit? Who can tell me what my profit is on this trade? If I bought at 17, if I sold at 17, bought back at 4, I did 10 contracts, how much am I making on the trade? There we go. We're out. See, they refilled the quantity, and boom, we're in. We're out. Done. What did I make on that trade? I sold it at 17. I bought it back at 4. I did 10 contracts. $130. Perfect. So yeah, $130. Boom, easy. Put it in. Very methodical. Not guessing. Not filling it. Okay. Not like I think it's gonna. I mean, I'm like, okay, I'm getting it on the E. This is where my take profit is. Where my stop loss is. Boom, boom, boom. A, B, C, D. Very structured trading. Now the next thing, let's see here. So we have that. Let me show you. Now there is another method. I talked about I have more than one method, right? So that's capped profit. We have other trades we could be doing. Now another one where I'm going for about $20. This is a method I've been playing with more and more lately. Is we're gonna have to add some more time on because we ran out of. You could go, and if you want to grab some free money, you know, you can grab these like 960.3s for 1050. That's really close. But $20 on that. Of course, if it moves up like 3 ticks, you're toast. It's way too close. Anyways, so we got that right there. Let's expand it out, and let's look at the next expiration, because I want to show you this other strategy. There's 2 other strategies I can show you for binaries that I'll do with the exact same Apex pattern. So once you learn the rules on the Apex pattern, by the way, you can apply this to binaries and spreads in multiple ways. You can use it to do reversals on BMXs. You can trade futures, forex, stocks, ETFs, options. I mean, all sorts of things with it. But the other strategy I was going to show you is I'll go in and I'll sell. I'm going to bring this down a little bit further just to see if we can see a few more choices. Right here. And I'm just going to go to a currency just to get a easy example. Okay. I'll go in and let's say I'm doing a sell, and I'll sell for like around $40. Okay, that's ideal. Is I want like $40, and I'll buy for like 60. So if I'm going long, I'll buy for 60. If I'm going short, I'll sell for around 40. And sometimes I'll put it in the and let it get there first. Okay, I mean, I may let it oscillate a little bit because you can see these things really do oscillate around. What are my settings? Okay, Heidi, I'm sorry, you're having data connection issues. You're going to have to hop up in the chat room. So I got to sort of focus on the trading. But if you'll hop in the chat room, I will help you, I promise. Okay, but just hit reset and put, you can put 60.95, an hour till expiration. But please hop over in the chat room. I'll help you out, okay? Can't do tech support on the webinar. But I'll sell for 40, and I want to help you. I want to make sure everything's working for you. So like right here, like let's say if I was selling this trade, and I'm just randomly pulling up, I'm trying to show you an example. So I'd sell for 40, I'd buy it back. My take profit would be 20. And if I'm buying for 60, so if I'm going long, I'll buy for 60, and I'll sell back. Okay, I'll sell back at 80 for take profit. So sell for 40, buy back at 20, buy for 60, sell back at 80. And you usually don't have to have just an absolutely massive move to accomplish this. And what I'll do is I'll look for them about an hour to an hour and a half before expiration. So I'm really wanting like probably about 90 minutes till expiration if I'm going to do this trade. So we haven't actually have that as one of our options, an hour and a half, see? And so I'll be looking for trades that fall in that group. So if I pull this up and I don't see one, I may say, you know what, I'll sell for, I want $40. I don't care if you're charging 32, I want 40. And so I can go over here, and I can put 40 in, and then I can let it oscillate around. Okay? Or I want, maybe I want this one, but this was a 57, that's close enough. I may take a 57 trade right there and grab that. That's pretty close to 60. But if I'm selling, I want 40, give or take a couple bucks. If I'm buying, I want 60, give or take a couple bucks. All right? And then get out with a $20 profit. Now, I do this, like I said, an hour to an hour and a half before. So like right now is acceptable because we're at 58 minutes. So this is perfect timing. Okay, perfect timing. If I see a trade, here's the thing: is in the last 30 minutes, I should have taken profit. So if we're in the last 30 minutes, I'm looking to either get out of this trade at break even or get out of it at like a $20 loss. So if I bought it out at 40, let's say it's at 35, I'll probably put in a take profit order, or not take profit, but a limit order to get me out of the trade. If I bought it at 60, and let's say it's down to 35 now, I'll put in basically an order to sell at 40. So that way in the fluctuation, it'll get me out. And what this does, it allows me to have sort of a little bit of time on my side. It allows me to have direction on my side. It also allows it usually about a strike or so, and I'm taking profit on the trade. So maybe a strike and a half, and I'll have my profit. So I don't have to have a big move to grab my 20 bucks, and I can just grab that 20 over and over and over again. And if you recall yesterday, I talked about the 5% thing a little bit. If you make 5% a day, you make it 20 days a month. Well, what is 5% a day? It's, 3 $17 trades, right? It's 2 $25 trades, 3 $20 trades, whatever. That'd be at least 50 bucks per 1,000. You don't need to trade more trades. You just need to have more contracts as your account gets larger. So if you could do that, you could double your account every month. And there's reality, there's size limitations, there's, on down the list. I can go into a lot of different things. But you don't need to make a fortune. You need to make 5% a day. And you will be a very, very happy person if you can learn to do that consistently. Again, that's only a couple trades making 20 bucks, 25 bucks. You don't have to you don't have to swing for the fences. You just need to get a few trades and be done and quit for the day. But I'll buy for 60, sell for 80, 30 minutes left to expiration. If I'm not out, I'm getting out at 40. I'll sell for 40, buy back at 20. If I'm not out, I'll be looking to get out at 20 or break even, whichever if I can go for break even, I'll go for it. But the $20 loss is really what I'm sort of targeting. The reason I can do this is, unless it just really goes against me, which is pretty rare on these trades, I can usually get out for about, a $20 loss. And I mean, it's just a cool way to trade. So let's see here. Hold on one second. I gotta check a message. Let me check something over here. And I just want to look at something. Oil inventories come out. That's why I'm pausing. Oil inventories came out better than expected, higher. All right, I'll come back to that. We got our out of the monies, okay, that you can do. Now, this is the other option, is you could go and you could buy for, say, 30 or 40, but people who do this, a lot of times they're wanting to go in and they're wanting to go for that 70 bucks, and you're going to get smoked. So if you want to do that, you can. You can make a lot of money doing it as long as you're really good at being right. So I like the premium collection because I'm pretty good at being right, but this adds, I can be wrong. It can not move at all. It can go against me, and I can still be profitable on the trade. All right, so you could do the sell at 40, buy at 60. You could do the premium collection where it's deeper in the money like I did earlier. You could also do slightly out of the money. Now, if you're going to do slightly out of the money, okay, don't go way out, slightly out. Then, set this thing, you could set it to, 5 if you wanted to, but I'd probably raise it up to like maybe at least 20. And then you could set this to say 40. And what that's going to do for you is going to show you like slightly out of the money trades. So you could like buy for 40 and maybe you're going to go for 60 bucks, or sell for 70. But, get out of the trade at least within like 10 bucks or so of it hitting that profit target. But I understand you have a lot further to go. Odds are stacked against you. That's why the reason you get a better payout is it has to move further for you to be profitable. Okay? Anyway, so that's a summary on the binaries. And then on the spreads, it's pretty simple. 90% of the time what I'm doing, and I have a few strategies, but I'll show you the simplest one, is I just go over and I choose the market, and I literally just choose my direction, buy, at the money. And right there. And that lets me, what I'll do is I'll actually trade them just like it's the underlying market. So I'll sell 3 ticks below, I'll put my stop loss 5 ticks above, and then I'll just trail. And you can make a lot more money on the spreads when you get a big move. So when it's a small move, I mean, you'll get a break, then you clean up. So like over here, you know, we had this trade, you would have got in, you'd still be just floating in it. This trade wasn't an entry because it didn't get 3 ticks below the E. Got another trade so you could double up. So now you're in 2 contracts. It moves down, you had more than 6 bars, awesome. So now you're at, you know, basically break even a little bit better. And then you got a velocity bar as well. It keeps going down, you got another apex, 5 ticks above, boom, you took profit on that trade. This trade, you're in, nothing's really happening. And then all of a sudden it moves down, you get a velocity bar down here, great, you can tighten your stop on this one and on this one. You made a little bit of money, not a massive trade. And then you got in again right here, and of course you're doing very well. You tightened up on the E and the X right there, so you got that X, apex, more than 6 bars between it. And so you're able to capture some nice big moves. And trade a lot more. I always tell people that trading spreads is a little harder to learn, but it's a lot easier to trade. Trading the binaries is really easy to learn. I mean, you can teach anybody to trade binaries. Now, whether you can teach them to trade them profitably, it's a lot more difficult. So it all depends upon, you know, long-range goals. I prefer spreads for trend trading. I prefer them for longer trends, okay, for trying to really capture some profit. And then I prefer spreads for news straddles because you can get out of break even on them. Or take a profit usually. Rarely do you take a total loss ever on a straddle if you do it correctly. And then I prefer binaries for obviously premium collection. I'm working on some spread premium collection strategies, but binaries for premium collection and binaries for scalping. So I'll scalp with the binaries. You know, that's sort of what I consider like these $15 trades. It's basically their scalps. So because I'm already out, I was out of the trade. Think about that. I was out on this Russell trade right here. You know, so if I would have got back in on this other E up here, I would have been out just a few bars later, you know, which really wasn't that much time. And about 5 minutes, 5-10 minutes right there. In the trade, out of the trade, done. And then all this other action happened. This would be money where you're really taking profits on the spreads where it's going down. You're getting a nice profit on it right there. You will tie up more capital a lot of times with the spreads, but not as much as you think. So, because you do have the intradays, you can roll them. So it comes to 11 o'clock, you could roll over to the 12 o'clock, you could roll over to the 1 o'clock. So you can use less capital, or if you don't want to deal with rolling, then you could buy, you know, ones that are further out, like the 3 o'clocks or 4 o'clocks or whatever. 6 bars to break even, that's the apex method. Yeah, that's basically if there's not 6 bars between the E and the X, then after I get 6 lower lows on a short or 6 higher highs on a long, I'm going to move my stop to break even. So that's on yesterday's webinar slightly. It's if you go over here to the Apex Trading Resources, right there, then do it again. Apex Lead Trading Resources. Then right here, you'll see like how to Apex Elite Trading System, how to limit losses, let profits run. I go into a little more detail on these. And then this is like, you know, one of the methods on using binaries. Now, I've done the 75-25 method. I've done the like $15 method like I just showed you. I got the 60-80 method. So there's like 3 or 4 ways you can do it, but the system's always the same. Okay, the entry, trailing stops, take profits, you know, stop losses is always the same. There's just different, you know, ones that you could choose. So I show you like one example in here, and I just showed you a couple more examples today. The Nadex spreads. This is from beginning to end, like a spread, a hedge, a straddle, like everything you need to know about spreads. And this is how to trade the Apex method using the spread specifically. So this is talking about like the virtual trailing stops. And some of this stuff is duplicative, but you know what? You may need to watch it twice to get it down. So it won't hurt you. And I tell people to watch this stuff while they're trading during the day. Have it on. Just let it run. You don't have to be sitting there just mindlessly watching for 2 hours. Let's see. And then, yes, the link, let me give that to y'all so you'll have that, and then we'll wrap up the webinar for today. Right here, if you want to hop over, ask questions, etc. It's right there. So, and hop in the trade room. Over there. All right, well, that's pretty much all I got for today. I hope that answers any questions that you do have. If you have more, then just hop over in the room and let me know. I'll hand it on back over to Morgan. And by the way, we do have a webinar tomorrow. So if you want to hop on that, just go to the homepage and just go to weekly webinars right here. You'll see our entire webinar schedule. Okay, so we have the Trade Club contest webinar links here. We got our Thursday morning webinar right here. And fish pitch tomorrow. All right, well, I'll do it. I'll get them up. From the fishing trip in Alaska, definitely. Must be the angler right there, right? And the premium collection webinar is now uploaded too from last night's thing. They're on YouTube. If you'll subscribe to our YouTube channel, you'll actually get a notice every time we set out a video. Let's see, range-bound markets. Yeah, that's the newest one. Just went up. So right there. This is the one from last night where I talked about right there. All right, so that's the one from last night, if you want to catch that. All right, hand on back over to Morgan. You there, Morgan? He'll wrap it up here in just a second. But I'm over in the chat room now if you want to come on over and ask any questions. And help you out. Yeah, hop on there, register for that webinar. I'll give you the link for that too. You're in here. You can just go over to our website and grab it. I need to update that link. So I'll do that right now. There you go. All right, hop on over there if you have any questions, let us know, and thank y'all for coming to the webinar today. Appreciate it.